Growth is painful. Change is painful. But nothing is as painful as staying stuck somewhere you don't belong. Mandy Hale. Being stuck stinks. And the reason being stuck stinks is that it sucks the life out of you. It makes you feel hopeless about your current situation. It makes you feel lesser than because you should be able to get yourself out of the rut you're in. It gets you into all sorts of comparison traps and has a way of convincing you that things will always be this way. And I hate that about stuck, because stuck whispers generalizations and lies like always and you can never and if only. And even though it's a whisper, over time you get so used to the sound of stuck in your own head that it doesn't require shouting anymore. You have resigned yourself to thinking that your situation or your life or your relationship or your business will always be the way it is now, and you just need to accept that. And if that isn't bad enough, stuck sucks the life out of others too. You weren't meant to stay stuck, and so inevitably, you will not be the best wife, mother, daughter, sister, friend you can be for someone else when you're knee-deep in it. Your kids are going to suffer. Your spouse will suffer. And the world suffers because it's in dire need of what you have. But in your stuckness, you can't give all that you have because you are not free. When you're stuck, you stay small. And when you stay small, you can't influence others. And when others go uninfluenced, you will stay stuck too. It's a cat chasing its tail situation. This is why you can't stay stuck. And girl, I've got good news for you. You don't have to stay stuck and overwhelmed forever. You are able to do hard things and to do them while you are still afraid. But you do have to get unstuck first. Sometimes being stuck is a result of our bad decisions, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes being stuck happens to us, and sometimes it happens because of us. And trust me when I say I have been stuck many times in many ways and in many, many different seasons. In my 20s, I was stuck in a bad relationship. I was in a new city where I didn't know many people with a mortgage to pay and $0 extra dollars. I told myself that I didn't have many options other than staying together with the guy that I was with. If I broke it off, I would be alone, lonely, broke and struggling, none of which sounded very appealing. So even though the relationship was not good or healthy, the only option I felt I had was convincing myself that it wasn't really that bad. Have you ever told yourself that? Feeling optionless kept me stuck in a relationship for way too long for all of the wrong reasons. Also, stuck can be dangerous. I remember feeling so stinking stuck when the kids were little. Jason and I had decided that I would stay home with the children while he worked a sales job outside of the home. And even though I was nuts about our kiddos and ridiculously grateful that we were able to work out financially how I could be home, I still felt stuck. By the way, you can be doing the right thing and still feel stuck. I was stuck watching Bob the Builder for the 100th time in a row. I was stuck changing diapers. I was stuck running kids back and forth to Mom's Day Out. I knew it was just for a season and that I shouldn't wish it away, but I lost a lot of myself during those days of raising babies and feeling stuck. And then I felt guilty about my feelings because so many women would have traded spots with me in a heartbeat. So then I was stuck and trying to convince myself that I shouldn't feel stuck, which eventually led to bitterness. And bitterness steals your joy. Stuck steals from you, my friend. Jason and I have gone through more than one season in our marriage where our finances were in the gutter and we were stuck. Stuck barely making the bills, stuck trying to figure out how to get out of debt, stuck at home not being able to afford to take a vacation, stuck in the same house for years longer than we wanted to be because we couldn't afford another, stuck shopping at garage sales and thrift stores even when we didn't want to, stuck in jobs we didn't love or even enjoy, but we had to do what we had to do because we had backed ourselves into a corner and we were stuck. See, stuck robs you of options. For years, I was stuck at a desk job that I hated. Oh, it looked so good on the outside with my pager and my pantyhose, but I was dying a slow death, stuck in that cubicle day in and day out. For years, I remember thinking, isn't there more to life than this? And spoiler alert, if you are stuck too, yes, there absolutely is. Stuck keeps you way too long in places you aren't supposed to be. Maybe you can relate to some of this. Maybe you have sensed there is more to life than you are currently experiencing, but you don't even know how to get there, and you don't know where there even is. Or the fear of failing, fear of something new, or fear of judgment keeps you stuck. Maybe you want to start something new, do something different, try something you never have before, but you can't get unstuck enough to even take that first step. Every time you make an effort to take a step in the direction you want to go, the wind gets knocked out of your sails. And I get it, girl. I've been there. Maybe you know in your soul that you have settled for the wrong guy, the wrong job, the wrong city, or doing the wrong thing. I have done all of that and then some. Or maybe you've just become complacent. You've allowed yourself to get stuck in a rut of just going through the motions. You go to work, you come home, you do the dishes, you watch the TV, then you pass out in bed, and you rinse and repeat day after day until finally you retire and die. And it's no wonder you feel like you're slowly dying on the inside. Your soul is craving so much more. You were never meant for that, because complacency is a form of being stuck. And being stuck kills. It kills dreams and confidence and relationships and progress. Being stuck kills businesses and opportunities, and it will always keep you smaller than you were meant to be. We live in a world where we have more options than ever before. People can communicate and work from anywhere in the world because of cell phones and technology. I can go online right now and have toilet paper delivered to my house in the next 2 hours. I can travel around any city in the world in an Uber without ever having to rent a car or drive myself. I can hire someone to do my personal grocery shopping and bring it into my kitchen in the same afternoon. We have information at our fingertips 24/7 and options like we've never had before. What a wonderful time to be alive, right? But even with more options than ever before, we are also stuck with fear more than ever before. Years ago, I became fascinated with the online space. I loved social media, and I found that it allowed me to let my freak flag fly a little bit, while also allowing me the ability to delete comments and edit my thoughts, which to an introvert feels super safe. At the time, I was running a decorative painting business that was local to my Kansas City area only. But I was tired of managing people locally and recognized that if I got into this internet thing, I could teach people nationwide how to paint. So I hired a business coach to help me pivot into running my business online and show me how to get from point A to point B as quickly as possible. So one afternoon, I was on a call with my business coach, Sandy Krakowski. Sandy was what my kids refer to as Facebook famous. So I expected to discuss a new Facebook ad strategy with her, or how I should set up some sexy marketing funnel. But instead, Sandy told me that she'd been praying about our coaching call and felt like she was supposed to ask me a question. "What is it that you want, Jennifer?" she asked. What the what? I totally froze. What was it that I wanted? No one had ever asked me that before. Sure, I'd been asked what I wanted for dinner or what I wanted for Christmas, but this was a much deeper, bigger question. This was a what do you want out of life type of question. And I, embarrassingly enough, had no idea. I was 40-ish when this happened. I know it sounds morbid, but for all practical purposes, I knew I was roughly halfway to my life being over. How could I not know what I wanted from life? The truth was, I don't think anyone had ever asked me. And the other more important truth was, I had never asked myself. The question, what is it that you want, sounded to me like a what kind of life are you dreaming of type of question. And up to that point, I, perhaps like you, had spent my entire life in many stages and modes that did not include room for dreaming. Up to that point, I had been in a get a degree mode, get married mode, get a good job mode, in survival mode, in baby rearing mode, in the mortgage making mode. And what I wanted didn't really register much. I had simply been on autopilot. See, most of my life, I had been what I like to call an SRP. An SRP is a super responsible person. Perhaps half of you listening to this are SRPs and the other half of you are married to one, so you will totally understand. SRPs do not go through life wondering, what is it that I want? Super responsible people go through life doing the logical, responsible things that need to be done and doing what others expect of them. We pay the mortgage early. We stay in jobs with 401k matches. We have more than enough life insurance. We Dave Ramsey our way through debt. We work 2 jobs if needed. We take care of things. But we do not sit around and wonder what we want. Most of the time, we super responsible people are not dreamers. We are doers. We do what we need to do because it doesn't even occur to us to not. Can you relate to this? And one of the things that bothered me about the question from Sandy is that I had no idea what I wanted out of my business or out of my life. I was just stuck living day to day without ever even considering, what is this all for? I had never really considered what I wanted. I know at one time I wanted to get all of my kids potty trained. I wanted a new SUV. I wanted my waist back. But Sandy was asking me to dig deeper, and it was really uncomfortable. Just recently, I discovered that even Jesus asked people what they wanted. What do you want me to do for you? That's in the book of Matthew, chapter 20, verse 32. Whoa. I tried to imagine what would happen if it wasn't Sandy who asked me what I wanted, but Jesus himself. Like, how lame would that have been if I couldn't even come up with an answer for Jesus? That's not good, Jen. Not good. Since that coaching call, I have tried to really determine what it is that I'm hoping to get out of this one lifetime. Because we got to know where we want to go, sis. Or better yet, where God wants us to go. So often, part of my being stuck was about my circumstances and my fear, which we'll talk about later. But a lot of it was also my lack of vision. I had no idea where I wanted to go or what I wanted to do. And it's hard to leave a place you are stuck in, emotionally or physically or spiritually, if you have no idea where you are going to. We stay stuck because at least we know stuck. And at least stuck is familiar. And unfortunately, familiar feels good, even when it is bad. So many socially, morally, and spiritually conscious people are stuck simply because they have been trained to do what is expected of them and not what they want or what God nudges them to do. Oh, if you're an SRP, you're going to get free from that in this book, my friend. Some of your stuckness is not your fault. Since starting my online business, there are so many times when I'm about to launch something new and I just feel stuck and scared. I struggle to get out of my own way. I worry about what other people are going to think, and it causes me to delay doing what I know I'm supposed to do. Stuck, for me, often feels like I'm standing on the internet naked, and who on earth wants to do that, right? So I want you to know that I have been where you are, my friend. I have felt the same nagging suspicion that I should be doing something bigger, something different, more meaningful, all the things. I have had that exact, I can't put my finger on what it is, but I know I want more feeling. I have been paralyzed with fear and settled for less than God's best for me for more reasons than I can list here. And what has happened to me and what I see happening so often to other people is that they get really stinking comfortable and they're stuck. And they eventually take up camp in Stuckville, surrounded by other stuck people. And they live there so long and see people just like them so much that they often don't even recognize they are stuck anymore. But it does not have to be like that. I want you to know there is so much hope. If you are stuck, scared, or overwhelmed and trapped in your own head, you are like so many of the women I work with. If you are wanting to do something that feels meaningful and significant to you, you are in the right place. You are like so many of the women I coach. You are gifted in so many ways, but also dangling somewhere in between, I think I can, and who do I even think I am? And yes, girl, in case you aren't entirely sure, there is more for you. God does have more for you than this. And I'm going to show you how to get it. In the rest of this book, I'm going to show you how to go from being stuck and scared to being free. I'm going to show you how you can have a different life than the one you have today without feeling guilty or fearful or overwhelmed. I'm going to tell you how to show up for your own life. Friend, here's what I want you to know. The God of the universe is on your side and in your corner and partnering with you for a life that is wild and free and anything but average. Average people are stuck. They let their fear control their actions. They let their feelings become their boss. But you are not that person. Fear is not the boss of you. You are completely capable of having a life filled with peace and deep joy and expectancy. A life without being stuck. A life without all of the overwhelm. And a life where you have learned how to do things afraid so much that it just becomes natural to you. This is a life worth living. Are you ready?